All right, gentlemen. Fighting terrorism demands the disruption of financial networks that fuel violence. In a significant move, the government of Finland has seized the assets of the factional leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Ekpa, Simon Ekpa, over allegations of inciting violence in southeast Nigeria. Reports also showed that Ekpa is being remanded in prison, which is reputed to be one of the world's toughest prisons. Gentlemen, I mean, many thought nothing would happen to Simon Ekpa because he's a citizen, and that's what his fans are saying.
I'm so excited what is happening because Simon Ekpa is extremely responsible man.
This is more trouble for him.
Very responsible man. He sat down in his flat in Finland and he will be sending all manner of messages, creating all manners of problems. And then he deluded himself that he has formed a government in exile, and he kept doing things. And the reason for that was that he believed that, oh, I'm in Finland, there's nothing they can't touch me there. And it took a long time, but eventually we got there. Because what the states will have done is what they're doing now, to complain officially. Because there are enough evidences, because the guy usually do videos. He gives all instruction mostly through videos. So there are enough evidence to show that this guy is a terrorist. And he's doing a lot of things in the southeast. Even at the time, the officials of IPOP were saying that we are not with this guy. He's just on his own. And he went on this illusion that is the leader of so-called Biafra in exile. And he kept doing all manner of things. So now that the state has been able to convince, the Nigerian state has been able to convince the government of Finland and provided evidence, and is now being tried for terrorism, that's the best news that we can get.
So this is more trouble for society.
Oh, trouble. He's on his way to jail. In fact, I pray that he should go to jail.
All right. Adeoye, you know, his fans have described this latest action by the Finnish government as I want to get the right words, transnational repression against him. They said Finnish government betrayed their trust. I don't know what that means.
Well, I don't think there was any prior alliance between the government of Finland and Ekpa, except that Simon Ekpa exploited the age-long history of Finland, which is one of the places where freedom of speech is guaranteed to his best. He exploited that freedom to his best advantage, but with consequences, because freedom of speech is not absolute. You know, there are limits all over the world. You know, to the extent that there are certain things you say that can be, you know, seen and really against the law of the land. So I think seizing his assets is a major step that will actually affect his morale, because without funding, there is no way Simon Ekpa will have been able to carry out, you know, the chain of activities, you know, maintain the chain of commands, you know, that are under him. So I think the Finnish government decided to, you know, to hold him, you know, in a very strategic area by taking over his assets. And I believe that this is not the end of the story, but I think it's a huge defeat for him and his group. We must also not forget that there are factions in IPOP. He only represents a faction. There are other two factions, you know. There are, you know, Kano's group, and then one other group that is just a little bit. So I think that I also do not align with the strategy of Simon Ekpa. If you are talking about self-determination, to fight for a people's right to political autonomy, it's a right guaranteed by United Nations, an African charter. But those charters emphasize the process that must be peaceful means of agitation. But when you begin to set messages across the world, fighting almost every ethnic group in the country apart from your own, and attacking people, instigating violence, asking people to go to police stations and seize both those police stations, I think it is not a good strategy. Even the ANC never adopted that kind of strategy, you know, openly at least. But, you know, he has portrayed himself as somebody who will be seen as a very violent man. And I think probably his problem is lack of experience in terms of struggle. You know, if you want to be a good leader, you must read about other struggles all over the world, in Cuba, in South Africa, and the methods that they have adopted. You know, because Mandela was the head of of the ANC group that were fighting, even had organized training, but they did it covertly. To the extent that they were not making open statements and all that. And if you are fighting for self-determination, did you think that you are not going to relate with other ethnic groups in Nigeria in future, even if you have Biafra? Are you going to say that you are not going to relate with your neighbors, with the Kwere, Ijaw, with Yoruba people, but you try to demonize every other ethnic group, even those that may even have sympathy for you? So I think it's a very reckless person, tactless, and I think by now you must have seen the consequences that waging self-determination struggle needs a lot of wisdom. It's not just about, it's not, I hope so. But by seizing his asset, I know that this thing will really affect him,
But is there also a possibility that he manipulates his way out of prison? Because, I saw a report today where he allegedly told the Finnish government that he's just a content creator. And the issue of Prime Minister...
That's a joke, because...
It's not serious.
That has to do with forming a government, a Biafran government in exile. That's not what I said is that there are evidences, because he used to do videos. There are videos where he has asked people, it was one of those that said people should stay at home. There are videos that he has said if people violate that order, they should be disciplined. There are videos where he asks people to attack policemen in the southeast region. There are a lot of videos where he preached violence. So that's why I said it took a long time for the government to do the needful. What you just needed to do is that, because what he was working on was that, oh, I'm here, there's nothing they can do. This is abroad. Nobody can come and...
But if you say it took the federal government a long time to do the needful, do you think this is because the Southeast governors have been quiet themselves?
Yes, because when he was doing that, because of the violence, a lot of the governors in the Southeast cannot really come out openly, because anybody that does not go along with what they want, they visit you with violence. And there's no place that they've killed policemen like Southeast. They kill them regularly. He instructs people to do